We're coming up on our 200th episode of Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris, and we've had a lot of openings, monologues, cold opens, if you want to call it. But I don't know. Starting this show, it just doesn't seem to be the same, even though we're coming up on that milestone, because we've seen the end of Joel Embiid's career in Philly, haven't we, Bobby?
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, he pulled off one of the biggest heists in the history of mankind. I mean, he basically robbed I don't want to say a team. It's like robbing a bank of $200 million. And he's just going to go along with with the rehab and the surgeries and act like he's giving it a shot, but he's done.
No, and what I think the bigger issue is, and we'll definitely for sure get into it, is I agree with what you said, but can you rob somebody who's actually handing you the money?
They were accomplice. Maybe he split it with them.
I just look at the state of the team. I mean, right now is just, hey, full tank mode and go from there. But I have no confidence going forward that whatever transpires is going to turn this team around anytime within the next 4 or 5 years.
No, there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
We'll discuss that.
Yep.
We'll discuss the Phillies, a little bit of Flyers, NASCAR, a couple top tens. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, eSports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at iSports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Yeah, when we look back over the process years, what led up to the Sixers getting to the point where they are now, all that they went through, the bringing in of James Harden, the team they had that probably could have won the championship was the one that lost to Toronto.
Yep.
on the 4 bounces. And now, like you said, we're just looking at a situation where this team's in purgatory for years. And like,
I was thinking about that today on my way to work. I'm thinking, if that shot doesn't go in and they beat the Hawks and say they got to one finals and won another, then we look at Embiid differently, right? We hold him in the same respect as Nick Foles and now Jalen Hurts, right? I mean, he's goes down as a hero instead of a what could have been.
I don't want to put everything on Embiid because I think the franchise didn't do him any favors at times with what they put around him. And it seemed like, okay, Jimmy Butler was there, then he was gone. They had to go with Tobias Harris, and that kind of didn't work. James Harden, yeah, but then there was the injuries.
I'm talking before James Harden. I'm talking,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can't blame the franchise for putting Jimmy Butler, J.J. Redick, Tobias Harris, and a prime Ben Simmons on the court. That wasn't a bad team.
That was probably the best they had.
With Gallinari and Ilyasova coming off the bench, I mean, that was a pretty solid team. I mean, they were, like you said, they were 4 bounces from going to the conference finals in a series I think we would have been favored in and probably would have won. And the following year, it all started with the Ben Simmons not dunking that ball against the Hawks.
It
began the free fall.
And it also was the Boston series where it was. I'm trying to figure out exactly what year that was, but they got down 2-0 to Boston in Boston, but then they came home. It was the game I was at where the confetti was blown on the court for a tie game at the end.
Yeah,
and that was a situation where Ben Simmons missed the dunk when all he had to do in I believe it was in overtime. All he had to do was take the ball and pull it back out, and odds are the Sixers were going to win that game. But he went in or he makes the dunk, the Sixers win the game.
So many moments that could have gone either way, and every single one of them got the worst possible way it could have gone. The Sixers just had no luck, unlike the Eagles, which have had a lot of luck. They took advantage of their situations. They took advantage of their easy paths, and they went to 3 Super Bowls in 7 years or 8 years. Sixers, not so much. Now, if they don't get themselves in position to be in the bottom 6, now I'm just hearing this, they don't get a draft pick.
Yeah, I don't know how that works with that protected pick.
That's how it works. They have to be bottom 6.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Not bottom 6, top 6 picks. I mean,
yes. Their ping pong ball would have to come up, and I look at this. I look at this situation, and as we've said so many times, we're just fans. I mean, but you can go back through our.
We're not just fans. We're knowledgeable fans.
Correct. And we try to be as best we can. You can go back through our shows, and we knew what they were going to do with Embiid, because I've said it so many times. If Embiid is on the team, that puts an ass every 18 inches in the building. And
not anymore.
No, not anymore. But that was their thinking. Okay. And it's like, it was time probably 2 years ago to move on.
It was time when Anthony Davis was on the New Orleans Pelicans and was up for trade. I said it then. They should trade Embiid for Davis. Look, Davis isn't the greatest player in the world. He's hurt a lot. We won a championship.
Yeah, and
it's more than we could say for our guy. I mean, I know, yeah, he had LeBron James and it was in a bubble. I get it. But it's more than we got.
I made the comment on social media. I guess it is possible to trade aging big men who are often injured for superstars. Anthony Davis for Luka.
Why couldn't we traded Embiid for Luka?
Oh boy!
All we had to do was make the call. They might have did it.
Yeah.
How would you like to wake up to that in the morning? He's a Sixer. Luka is a Sixer. You wouldn't have believed it.
And it's not so much. It's not so much from my standpoint that Embiid wasn't one of the greatest big men. Isn't going to go down as one of the greatest big men ever. He just couldn't get on the court.
Yeah.
It just there was.
He would have been.
Look, I've made no bones about this in saying that how much of a hockey fan I am and a Flyers fan. That team has been as frustrating and as depressing as can be for a long time. And there was a time when they had gotten themselves to a point where they had traded Jeremy Roenick and they got Peter Forsberg. And Peter Forsberg, arguably one of the greatest players ever. And when he was in Colorado, I mean, he took them to championships. And what started to happen when he came to Philadelphia was you had to see every day if he was going to play. After a while, you just give up.
Yeah.
Play, not play. That's what happened here.
And even this year, though, like say we're not, Bobby and Chris from Philadelphia. Say we're from Milwaukee. We look at the numbers and we say, hey, he still scored 23 points a game. He's still scoring. He still is getting numbers. But we, on the other hand, watched him. We saw him laboring out there and not able to get back on defense. Just pulling up the 3-point line. I actually, you feel bad for him. I mean, he can't move. And
right.
He looks like he's 42, not 30. Not 30. I mean,
but my problem though is, and I'm just trying to be maybe a little restrained, or to just figure out the right way to say this is, okay, what's the response by the fans? Because it's enough. What that franchise put the fans through.
Well, they're stuck now. What can they do? How can they get out of this? There's no out.
There's no out. We didn't even mention Paul George. I mean,
he's all right. He gave up his podcast, so he's okay now.
Yeah, I know. Everything's fine.
Since he quit the podcast and he's going to focus on basketball now, watch out. Sixers are coming.
They're going to fight for the 10th seed, even though you have Tyrese Maxey who goes 0 for 10 for 3. Bobby, I wouldn't go 0 for 10 for 3, I don't think.
I don't get it. Even at the end of the game last night, they just knew they were losing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything Brunson shot was going to go in. Every time down the court, we weren't going to score. I mean, it's...
we've talked about this before too. I don't know if Nick Nurse is a good coach or not. I don't know. He probably isn't the right coach for this situation. But this situation, who could coach in this situation though? I mean, I see he gets a lot of blame, but
yeah, I'm wearing his shirt, by the way. It's the Nick Nurse shirt, the coaching shirt.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think he was a great coach. One of those, like young coaches, like the Budenhauser, and he's the type of guy that Sixers never could get, and they finally got him. And he hasn't had much to work with. There's been no continuity this season. I don't even know at this point if Maxey you could build around him anymore.
No, I would say I was trying to compare him to Iverson 2 months
Nah.
ago. No, even though that's impressive to get 30 points and go 0 for 10 from 3. No one's ever done that in the history of the game. So that's kind of now. So 2 questions. Okay. One, please don't push it and somehow things turn around and you get into this play in or whatever. I don't want to see that.
They're not going to. They don't have the ability to turn it around.
I don't believe so either. And the other thing is, okay, you're Embiid. What do? You go to the doctors and do what they say, and
like I said, in the beginning, he's going to just go along with it. Wouldn't you? What's he going to say? I'm done. I retire. He would forfeit the money, wouldn't he?
I'm guessing so. But do you put yourself through the surgeries and
he's going to have meniscus replacement? Where are they getting it from?
Well, don't they take the meniscus from like your shoulder? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. What are they going to get it from, a dead person?
I don't know. Maybe the staff can let us know how you get a meniscus replacement surgery if the staff.
Yeah, where are you getting it from? If they can get it from anybody, can they go to get it from like whoever wins the Boston Marathon? Can we get their meniscus so he can run?
You get one of those Kenyan long distance runners.
Yeah, exactly. So he can have unlimited stamina. He can play 48 minutes a game.
But here's my question. Wouldn't you think a synthetic meniscus could be manufactured better?
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
They're going to 3D print it.
I'll have to look it up. But
hi, Ralph. How you doing? He said, "Good evening. Have a great show." Same turn. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you guys. I don't know the answer. Of course, he's going to go along with it. It's life-changing money. It's not like he's making $70,000 a year. He's making $53 million or whatever it is. And for the people's,
but we forget though he was all well and good and gung ho to win that Olympic medal.
There's your answer on the screen. He will receive meniscus from a donor. So all the times we see like when somebody gets hurt, I'll give him my arm, I'll give him my leg. It's really going to happen this time, huh?
It's going to happen. I guess it's going to be a dead person who. It's going to come from a dead.
That's not even funny. It's just like something we make up.
I mean, at some point you're going to have the $6 million man. Remember that show? You're going to have him out there. He's going to be part robot.
But wouldn't they have to be like a really tall guy? And relatively young.
I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. But
I mean, you're not getting meniscus from an 80-year-old man that passes away of natural causes.
Yeah, no, I guess you're not.
Where else you get this kind of talk, everybody? 43 people joining us. You're not going to hear this kind of stuff anywhere. We're talking about.
But then here's the point. Then here's my point. He needs if this is the pattern, it needs to be done now. Now.
It's not going to work.
I didn't say it was going to work. we know that.
And if it does work, he's going to need a foot replacement and elbow and shoulder. It's never going to end with this guy. He falls 20 times a game. You would get injured too. Anybody would if they fell that much.
So my plan would be, and nobody calls me and wants to know my opinion, and then no one pays me multi-million dollars to be a general manager. I do all I can in the offseason to move Paul George. I don't even know if it's possible, but I get out of that as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I just say, look, we're going to move forward acting like Embiid is not going to be here, move Paul George, and then rebuild. Now, here's the problem. They don't have the people with the mindset to be able to do that. Daryl Morey can't do it. He has to go too. But the owner's more focused on the Commanders. So,
well, I mean, that was my next point. Everybody is saying shut down Paul George. What's that going to prove? That doesn't prove a damn thing. He's not going to become a better player next year at the age of 35. You play him.
That was if he was struggling with injuries. But you're right. You're right. Paul George isn't getting younger.
Yeah, you play Paul George and you showcase him. You give him 25 shots a game. You hope he scores 30 points a game. Like you said, then the trade is a possibility. Another team could get fooled the same way the Sixers got fooled.
Maybe you can go back to the Clippers.
That's fine. They can have them.
Harden's playing pretty well. I'm surprised. I mean, we saw him play well in Philadelphia in spurts. He did have some injuries. He had some very, very lame playoff games. So we'll see what happens in the playoffs this year. But I was watching him last night, and he didn't score in the first half. And by the end of the third quarter, he had 23. It was just like he just put, or he may have ended the game with 23, but he put the team on his back against the Bulls when, those Bulls who blew out the Sixers by like 50 or something.
Yeah. I mean, James Harden's going to end his career as what, a top 20 scorer of all time, probably?
He's already 13th.
13th in scoring?
I think he's 13th in scoring. He's 13th in scoring and 13th in assists.
He's a guaranteed Hall of Famer.
Oh, my goodness.
That's never won squat.
No, and the biggest albatross around his neck all the time was Daryl Morey for a while. No, and I think he had a good opportunity in Houston. He had a good opportunity, at least on paper, in Brooklyn. But those three could never be healthy and get on the court either. And where he is now, he's not winning it.
So he's gonna. I know that's including playoffs. I'm looking at. Why would it give me that? I don't care about the playoffs. Playoffs.
Thank you, everyone who's joined us. Taryn, good evening. Yep, we're going to have a great show, and next week will be number 200.
Yeah, it's crazy. We'll talk. I'm not going to go through it now. It's going to be next week. We'll talk about what we've done over the years and different scenarios and places we've done the show.
True. Flyers are winning 1-0 in Pittsburgh after they beat them pretty soundly on Tuesday.
They always do.
They're like I've said this so often too, which is frustrating. They've had a good stretch here where they're scoring goals and playing pretty well. It's just too little, too late.
Yeah.
There's your world famous Flyers minute, everybody.
Boo! Yeah. Boo! All right, yeah, he's 13th all time. He has 27,000 points, not 30,000. But he could end up like 7th or 6th by the time he's all said and done. That's crazy.
It is.
A guy of his size and the way he plays, that he's going to score that many points.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but only one finals appearance, right? You just won?
Oklahoma City. Was it his rookie season?
I believe it was either his first or second with the Thunder, right?
I think so. Yeah, it was definitely with the Thunder against Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like Dan Marino, went to the Super Bowl and never won again.
Boy, that I'll tell you what, that was a good young team they had. And Miami just stormed back after getting down 2-0 in that series. I remember it. I was like, wow.
I mean, the amount of players, and there must have been 8 Hall of Famers maybe in that starting lineup for both teams combined. I mean, if you look back over that, you had Dwayne Wade, definitely, Shaq, Ray Allen, Chris Bosh. Is he borderline?
Yeah, you can argue him.
And then you had Westbrook, Durant, Harden.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is. Excuse me. I look at this, and you had that situation too. We talked about coaches. Because I saw someone make this comment. Was Brett Brown the best coach that the Sixers had since the process started?
I mean, record-wise or success-wise?
Just what he got out of the team.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now you could argue he had the best starting 5 and bench. But, yeah, I mean.
They actually had a purpose out there, it seemed like them. Actually, they ran plays and kind of played basketball. Nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just frustrating. I mean, we come off the Eagles season where it's one that it's going down obviously in history as one of the greatest Philadelphia seasons or greatest sports seasons any team has ever had. Yep. And we're getting ready for March Madness. We're here. and it's just there's that emptiness because the NBA in Philadelphia is just gone.
Yeah, every day that we get further from the Eagles season, it's more and more depressing. I mean, it kind of what you just want to get back to football. I mean, it's like I'd almost rather hear news on them right now than anybody else. I mean, are they going to re-sign, Zach Vaughn, or are they going to re-sign, Josh Sweat? Most likely not. Who's going to come in? Are they going to add to the offense? Are they going to, re-sign or bring a Myles Garrett? I mean, there's a lot of question marks. Is Darius Slay gone?
Yeah, what do they do? What do they do coming up in the draft? And yeah, no, you're right. That there has
Hey, what we haven't talked that. Like, what do we think they're going to draft? I think they're going to draft a cornerback to play opposite Quinyon Mitchell.
That's an interesting point. I thought about this. Do you do that, or
they don't have many other needs?
Well, do you draft a replacement for Lane Johnson?
I think they could go one more year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're thinking about it. It's like, well, there's not really a need there for things. You try to think about what they might think about doing. I think what you said is probably right.
Mm-hmm. Another shutdown corner. That's what I would go with.
Yeah, and I want to see too. I haven't checked. I mean, Nakobe Dean coming back healthy is going to really, really help the team. I just don't know if he'll be able to be back next season or not, and be able to I don't know how soon he'll be able to come back and how much he'll be able to contribute. But just think about it. Just think about it. He wasn't there after the first playoff game, and they did what they did.
Right.
I mean, wow.
I'll see if you. I've been watching a lot of clips and tape of the Super Bowl, and I noticed a certain guy out there on defense. Do you notice a certain number on defense when you watch the playback of all the pressure on Mahomes? Do you see it? Do you see a guy out there, a jersey number a lot in the video for the Eagles? Have you watched it that closely?
I don't believe so. Okay,
well, it seems like every time I see Mahomes getting tackled, the same guy is in the picture. It's number 97. You know who number 9? I had to look up who he was. His name's Ojo. You've heard his name. His name's Ajomu.
Oh, yeah. Right. I didn't know that was his number.
He played a lot in the Super Bowl. Jordan Davis wasn't out there a lot.
No, you're right. And whenever Mahomes was trying to get out of the way of somebody, he ran into him.
He was always there.
You're right.
I mean, I don't know if Jordan Davis was hurt. You're not going to hear any criticism because they destroyed the Chiefs, but this guy played good, and I think he has a future.
I hope he does. I mean,
I don't even know his first name.
I don't either. I know the last name.
It was like the 7th round pick, Ajomu. Him and Jalix Hunt. I mean, they hit on every draft pick. The last 3 years, their top 12 picks are all on the team. That's like they're like the only team in the NFL that's done that. I think the next highest was Baltimore with 10. So I mean, they've hit on everybody lately. Howie Roseman has been perfect at the draft.
Yep. Hey, and I really don't see that stopping either. I mean,
no, you just look at Alabama, Georgia,
yeah,
and SEC teams, LSU, and that's who you pick.
Yeah, you don't need to be going to TCU, SMU, or try to find a diamond in the rough and all that stuff.
We're not going to find JJ Arcega-Whiteside because he can jump. He can out jump guys on balls that are thrown up.
Or going back, this doesn't have anything to do with Howie, but going back in the day when they took Mike Mamula.
Well, yeah, number 59 out of Boston College. I mean, that's a guy, he almost got sacks.
Yeah. Well, I think in that one game he got one. They went back and looked at it and they reviewed it. Who I'm trying to think now. Who I can't remember the name. I remember watching that draft and it was Ray Rhodes and he took someone like 17th or 18th and it was like who? I can't remember his name now. We'll have to.
What position?
I think he was a defensive lineman. Oh,
yeah. They had that guy on the defensive line from Virginia. I think that's who we're talking about.
Yeah,
The
I think
defensive
we
end
are.
from Virginia, John Harris.
That's the guy. That's exactly right, John Harris. If they
Number
took
90
him
Number 95.
out of Virginia, it was like it was in the first round, and it was like,
Yeah, nobody knew who he was.
and
Yeah.
it's like, wait a minute, nobody had him even on like a draft board.
Terran
Well-
says the big question is, will the Giants' first round pick eventually go on to win a Super Bowl like Saquon did?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's who are they going to pick? I don't know. I haven't really done like the deep dive into who the top 5, like where they're going to go. I mean, a lot of people know they think who it's going to be. It's going to be Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. The question is, does Tennessee go another year with Will Levis, or do they take Travis Hunter and build around them and wait, either go out and get a free agent quarterback, because I don't think there's a can't miss quarterback in this draft. I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I don't think this is the year to pick a quarterback in the top 5.
I agree with you. Unless you're going to go with Sanders and just throw.
I don't think Sanders is a sure thing by far.
No. You just do it and cross your fingers.
That's And if I own a team, I'm taking the sure thing, and I think the sure thing is Travis Hunter.
Yeah, and there might, like you said, I don't know who's free agents or not out there as quarterbacks that you might be able to plug somebody in. But
that's the other question. That's the other question. Do the Vikings bring back Sam Darnold, or do they go with J.J. McCarthy? That's the question there. There's a lot of this going around. I mean, there's a lot. What are the Steelers going to do?
yeah,
I've heard rumors the Steelers are going to bring in Aaron Rodgers. They bring in Aaron Rodgers, or do they go with the combination of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson again? I mean, it's tough. There's a lot of question marks in the NFL. Luckily, our team doesn't have that question mark anymore. Even though you and I, we'll admit it, we said that there was a question mark in week 17.
and we were, and we were,
look, you can't blame us. He was going back and just taking sacks. I mean, he looked horrible.
and we were proven wrong. But hey, you know what? We're more than happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's hard to believe after all the years we have 2 Super Bowls. It's almost unbelievable.
I'm going to sit here and make a statement that I've made in the past. I mean, I don't think Rob Thompson should be the manager of the Phillies, but if he takes them to a world championship, hey,
He already did.
Well, he took them to the World Series. He didn't win it. I said to a championship. If Rob Thompson, if people are throwing beer cans at Rob Thompson going on a float down Broad Street.
Have you checked out any games yet? I haven't been able to.
No, I've seen some things on social media and what some people have talked. Because I'll put it to you this way: I don't care one bit what happens in preseason baseball.
No, I don't either. I care about the young players. Has Aiden Miller played?
The only thing I care about is a significant injury. That's it.
Has Andrew Painter thrown a pitch yet?
I haven't seen where he has. No. I guess Wheeler's looked good. Sanchez has looked good. I don't even know if Nola's pitched yet.
They shouldn't. I'm doing what the Eagles do. I'm doing what football does. These guys aren't pitching. There's no reason for them to pitch.
No, because you can get just as much work in throwing on the side.
Right, on the side.
The only thing is, I mean, Harper got hit in the tricep.
Shouldn't be playing.
I mean,
I wouldn't start ramping them up till 2 weeks before the season.
My concern there was, and it was a good point. I don't know who I read this from, but he got drilled by a lefty. So I don't know how, as a person, you don't go in there thinking against a lefty. It's coming, and it just, hey, it's just part of the game.
He's hard to pitch to. His whole upper body's like over the plate. I mean, if you're a lefty that comes across the body.
And that ball getting up around 98, 100 miles an hour, he's not getting out of the way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's tough to pitch to. He really is. You have no room for error inside. You've got to pitch him away.
It falls into every sport when you talk about when we talk about people getting injured. And look, I never want to see anybody on another team or whatever get injured. I mean, I don't want to see Spencer Strider hurt. I want to see Strider out there pitching. You look at what Juan Soto. one bad pitch from somebody trying to make the team in spring training, and Juan Soto could be gone 3-4 months, hitting the hand, hitting the knee. I mean, obviously, these things are obviously the chances you take.
Right.
It's just amazing how sometimes you look back. I mean, Rhys Hoskins. I mean, what happened with him in spring training, which cost him a season?
Yeah.
I guess he's still on the Brewers, right?
2 years. Yeah. Well, why isn't Harper wearing the arm protector?
I think he was. He got hit up in the upper shoulder tricep area. So I don't know. You got to go up there with a suit of armor on.
I know.
Or something. Somebody should come up with technology where if the ball is coming towards you, the ball automatically stops.
I'm sure they could.
Radar technology.
Motion detector.
Yeah, you the ball stops. It was going to hit you. You get first base.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much going on Phillies wise right now. That's why I'm excited. I'm hoping that there's a new guy in the mix this year. Like that's the only difference. We've had the same team we're going on 4 years now. It's the same guys out there.
Max Kepler is the only one.
Yeah,
that's about. I don't see it. I don't see him bringing anybody young up with them from Florida. They just seem to shy away from that. I mean, okay, so they've had all this talk though that, well, Schwarber's not going to lead off.
I'm sure he will.
And does it make that much a difference if he bats first or fourth? I mean, maybe, but.
And Johan Rojas had a 2-run home run today.
Yes,
probably not a good thing.
I mean, it's still going to be the same guys, same lineup, and it's just going to be a matter of what they do.
Right, it's the same lineup. So how can we sit here and it doesn't matter who the manager is? Casey Stengel can be the manager. It's going to be Schwarber, first base Harper, second base Stott, shortstop Turner, third base Bohm, Romuto catcher, left fielder Kepler, right fielder Castellanos, and probably a platoon in center. I mean,
platoon in center, yeah.
It's not that difficult.
And it's going to be Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, Luzardo, and Suarez. Not in that order. Maybe in that order. Right. I don't know.
Late inning replacement Edmundo Sosa in the field.
Correct. Edmundo Sosa will come in late and then out of the bullpen, he'll try and do maybe the righty lefty matchup, and we'll see.
Yippee!
Yeah, I mean, Alvarado, will he throw strikes or not? I don't know. Kirkering again.
All right.
Who's going to close? Romero, I guess. Okay, well.
Yeah.
I mean, they do start a month from today.
It's crazy. And the Dodgers are just so good that it's almost like when the Chicago Bulls were in the NBA. It's like nobody's beating that team. They added Sasaki.
Did you? I know. Did you see that clip? I don't know. I didn't read it enough. I should have. The Dodgers were working out a guy on the mound who was 7'6".
What?
Yeah, the ball was being released. I mean, the guy didn't look like he was a pitcher, okay? But it looked like they were trying to. I don't know if the staff can pull up his name or not. But they were working out this guy. He was a big right hand guy throwing the ball. He was like 7'6", and I'm like,
his name was Sean Bradley.
Yeah, interesting idea because you're halfway to the plate when you throw the ball.
Wow,
it's kind of like that old thought. Well, why don't you get a sumo wrestler to be the goalie in hockey?
Right. I'd love to see it.
Do you imagine that a 750-pound sumo wrestler who can move a little bit?
Yokozuna.
Yeah, exactly. You could never score.
Is there a rule that the goalie has to wear skates?
I don't know. That's a good question.
He just rolls out.
You'd see at timeouts and in between periods, he's eating rice.
He just stays out there in between periods because it's too much of an effort to get off.
Welcome to your sumo wrestling talk here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. You ever watch sumo wrestling?
Not really. I mean, I think it was on Impractical Jokers one time.
I
They
mean,
made Joe go against the world champion. They're actually pretty athletic.
the only thing, my only connection to that was just being in the world of professional wrestling. So much that when I was working for ECW, they had a number of Japanese wrestlers in, and I traveled on a pretty consistent basis with Yoshihiro Tajiri was the guy's name he was from Japan. He ended up in WWE for a while too. Oh, just an amazing guy. But in discussing the Japanese culture, I mean, sumo wrestlers are gods over there. And it's amazing. You just get as big as you can. You get in that circle and try and push a guy out or knock him down, and they just love it. And it's like,
is there weight classes?
That's a good. I think so, but I think I think they do have weight classes as you move up. But once you just get to a certain weight, you're just there.
Okay,
and it's the same thing. And that's one thing one regret I have that I go back and forth on, because it was during the time when my daughter was born. I didn't go on a trip to Japan with ECW, but it would have been 3 weeks, and it was a couple weeks after my daughter was born, and just to see the culture there. But in talking to the guys, and like I said, especially Tajiri, even wrestlers over there are really, really regarded as gods. I mean, they just love just a different culture,
right?
Kind of the way we look at some of our sports figures.
I'm better than Japan.
What's that?
I said you heard it here first. I'm better than Japan.
Absolutely. I don't regret not going to Japan. I said that wrong. The regret is the fact that it all coincided at the same time.
I could have been a Japanese wrestler.
How about something else that we love? Christopher Bell pulling the kind of William Byron this week.
How many times do I have to pick a guy and then he wins the next week? I picked him the first week.
It's true.
Oh, so Kyle Larson's going to win next week, no doubt about it.
I wouldn't have any argument against that. He would have won this week.
Yeah.
I just want, and I guess this is too much to ask for. Let's see. They're going to be this week. I don't think.
The road course, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the road course this week, Circuit of America. So maybe, Larson could win that.
Yeah.
AJ Allmendinger, maybe.
If he runs it, yeah.
True. Or Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, that's right. And Austin Cindric too. Austin Cindric's been good. I mean, he's had a good card both weeks. It's been in contention. It's just, bad breaks. But
yeah, it was. I just want, and we're only 2 races in, but the same thing happened last year. I just want the race to be over and look up and say, okay, and not have that look on my face of like, what was that?
Yeah, that was wrong. Why didn't Jimmy Johnson race? Jimmy Johnson was 3rd in points. He could have. He should have gave it another run. He's there anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We have Byron and Bell. So anybody else out there with a B? Blaney? I guess Blaney.
Yeah.
You gotta get Ryan Blaney next. So
yeah.
There's gonna be your next winner. So we'll see the road course coming up. Now I'm watching here because the Flyers game is on the ESPN Plus, and I don't have that, but Denver and Milwaukee, a pretty good game on national TV.
Okay.
I saw someone making the comment today. They said the reason that the ratings are so bad in the NBA is because there's too many Sixers games on national TV.
Yeah. Did you see what Amen Thompson did to Giannis?
I did not.
Giannis beat him. He did the hook to get around him. They didn't call it on Giannis. Thompson he ended up behind Giannis when he went up for the shot, and he just grabbed him around the head and pulled him back.
Oh, Draymond Green?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey.
Thompson got ejected for it.
No, I'm surprised I didn't see that.
But he's been good. Amen Thompson.
He's been really good.
He's becoming a star.
Yeah, he has.
He's only 22.
Yeah, we've said this a number of times. I don't know. I mean, I think Boston wins it, even though last night. I mean, well, they didn't have Brown didn't play last night, but the surprise team is Detroit.
Detroit and Houston.
Yeah.
they're both going to be good. They've both passed the Sixers as far as progress. I mean, Houston's just loaded with guys: Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Reed Shepard, Torrey Eason. There's more. Who am I missing? Oh, Sengun.
Van Fleet's been hurt, but he'll be back.
Yeah, that team's loaded with players. I mean, they're all young. They're all good. Even Detroit, Cade Cunningham. You got the new other Thompson brother there, Sword Thompson.
Yeah, he's playing really well. And
Jalen Duran.
And Tobias Harris.
What's up, Marcus? How's it going?
Unbelievable. Yeah, hi, Marcus. Unbelievable to be watching Tobias Harris do what he did.
Yeah. I mean,
or is doing. And you know what's amazing, though? I guess I realized this, but it wasn't until I heard it said again last night. Detroit only won 14 games last year.
Yeah, and look how fast you could turn it around. I mean, it's crazy. That's what Tobias Harris brings to a team.
That's all they needed was to get Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
I mean, it is amazing. I mean,
you're watching Philly Sports Talk, the quickest hour in sports, isn't it?
Yeah, the quickest one. Well, Bobby, I have two top tens here.
All right.
Let's see. I'll see which one we'll go with first. This one was not easy for me to put together because I do this blind. I come up with it and then Bobby gets it blind, so it's only fair.
Right.
And I didn't go back past. Well, the one I'd have to check, but that's about. I didn't go way back. But the greatest athletes of all time whose first name is Steve. I told you we're running out of top 10 categories here.
Oh my God! The first one that comes to mind is Steve Nash.
Steve Nash, I have third.
Okay. Oh, wow, there's not that many.
Oh my goodness! Once you see some of these, you'll be. I couldn't think either.
Steve Francis, remember him?
Yes, number 9.
Okay, wow. Number 1 is this Philly. Steve Carlton.
Absolutely.
Does Steven count?
Yeah.
So Steph Curry?
No. I guess
Stephen?
It's Stephen, and I don't think, yeah.
It's spelled the same as Steven.
Well, and also I have no current players on the list.
Oh, okay.
It is spelled the same.
There's a guy named Steve Atwater, played for the Denver Broncos.
Could be on the list. I don't have him.
Yeah. Now it's all of a sudden getting hard.
I know.
Steve Finley?
Another guy who could be on the list.
Center fielder for the Diamondbacks and Orioles.
Excellent name.
They all. I was going to say Sebi Ballesteros. That's not Steve.
No, number 2, you're probably going to kick yourself if you're not getting number 2 because I almost put him number 1.
I'm going for sports. Steve Yzerman.
Well, Steve Yzerman is on my list at 5.
I'm going for sports. I just said hockey, football. Steve McNair.
McNair is 4 on my list.
Air McNair.
I did not watch the Netflix special on him. Did you?
No.
On
there was a 30 for 30 years ago.
Yeah, there's a Netflix special. I don't know if it's still on or not. On Netflix about his death. I might have to check that out.
Is he murdered?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and speaking of which, as we interject here, my favorite actor of all time was found dead today.
Yeah, I have some stuff on that after the show. Unless you want me to just say it, I don't care. Do you care?
No, go ahead on Gene Hackman.
Well, I don't know. It's conspiracy theory stuff, but he owned an island.
Okay.
And he sold an island. And what got released today?
Yeah.
Timing. And there people are speculating it was what? Carbon monoxide. There was the 2 animals were alive.
But a dog was found dead, right?
Yeah, but 2 other animals were alive.
Yeah, but the 2 humans were found dead. His wife, I mean.
Yep. She's only 63.
I'm not surprised Gene Hackman died. I mean, he's 195, but
right. But why would other people? There wouldn't be other dead people around them.
Yeah, what was really strange to me was the first comment was no foul play suspected. I'm like, wait,
Well, how do you figure? Yeah,
How do
right.
you know? How do you know that? Yeah,
Right. How do you know they weren't choked out? I mean, I don't know.
kind of strange. Number two for Steve, you'll probably kick yourself. 49ers
sport?
quarterback.
That's Steve Young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they all the major sports, or is there like a golfer?
No, because I couldn't think of one. Number 10 is Steve Prefontaine. You remember him, the runner?
No.
No, there was a movie made about him and his life. He was an Oregon runner.
Oh, well, is he the one that started the Nike shoes?
I don't know if he had anything to do with Nike, but I just could not think of anyone else. I just remember the movie.
Okay.
American long distance runner. Yeah. So and here's some of the other ones I have. One is currently a coach in the NBA.
Coach in the NBA.
He coaches Steph Curry.
Steve Kerr.
Yeah. I have two other ones. I have Steve Garvey.
Okay.
And Steve Smith Sr., the wide receiver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who was really good.
And Steve Smith, the basketball player.
Yeah, true.
Played for Atlanta.
The other top 10, this will be fun because we'll have some good debate on this too. And I didn't go past this is from 1980 on. Top 10 first baseman.
Okay. Why do I feel like we just did this?
No, we put in the top 10, or we put in our top 10 positions last week. But I don't think we ever did top 10 first baseman of all time.
Oh, because I mean, I'm like, didn't I just say Freddie Freeman in a
You did last week when we were putting together the best team you could put on the field this year.
That's right. That's right.
Freddie Freeman was the first baseman.
So obviously, he'll be on there.
Well, no, because no current players on the list.
Oh,
or he would be on the list. Yes.
Okay. Albert Pujols.
Number 1.
Okay. You count Pete Rose as a first baseman?
I put him 7th as a first baseman. Yeah, because I mean he's if as a player, of course, obviously he's higher, but yeah, I count him.
Okay.
Because when I went back through, I'm like, oh, well, Pete Rose has to be on here.
Yeah. Was Willie McCovey?
Willie McCovey would make the list. I don't know if he played in the 80s though.
I think he played right at the beginning. He might have retired in like 79, 80, something like that.
Yeah, but then he would definitely make the list, but I didn't put him.
Okay. About that Jeff Bagwell.
Now he would be an honorable mention.
Wow. He must have some really good players. I mean, he was a hell of a player.
You can argue Bagwell can fit in here. The 8, 9, and 10 that I have, I think you could put Bagwell in there.
About that Fred McGriff.
Number 4. He was good.
The crime dog.
Yep.
He could hit, man.
He was good.
Yeah, he was. Ryan Howard?
No, I didn't put Ryan Howard either. And
He didn't do it that long. He didn't do it long enough.
No, once we get down to the last few, you could swap him out for number 10, I think. Ryan Howard.
Come on, chat. Help me out, chat. That's my my baseball card talk there. Come on, chat. Let's see. Going through teams now. Cecil Fielder?
Nope. I didn't put him on the list either.
He had a lot of home runs.
He sure did.
I did Braves. There's always Braves. There's always Braves in the list that did Phillies.
That's because McGriff was a Brave.
And Mike Schmidt played first base at the end of his career. Not enough though.
Not enough.
Yeah. Yankees.
Tino
Martinez.
Don't have him on the list. If I had to make a list of top 10 people who wore wigs, I'd put Mike Schmidt on the list.
Yeah.
Number two was a Oriole, a Dodger, a Met, but he's more known as an Oriole. Hit 500 home runs. Switch hitter.
Rafael Palmeiro?
No.
500 home run switch there. Orioles. The hell am I missing here? Who else did he play for?
The Dodgers, played for the Mets.
Jeez. The hell, I'm drawing a hell of a blank here.
This is always tough each week. I put Bobby on the spot. Eddie Murray.
Because I have Rafael Palmeiro in my head now.
Eddie Murray.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I know.
Yeah, when I said William McCovey, Eddie Murray played around that time. He was a rookie in '78. But yeah. Oh, I got one. George Brett.
Nope, I don't have him on the list. Was he third?
He played third and first. I mean,
yeah, he did. He did. He played some first. Number 3. I'm surprised you're not getting number 3.
What team?
A's Cardinals.
Mark McGuire.
Yeah, I know. It's in number 5 has a Phillies connection. He's a Philly.
Von Hayes.
Yes, 2 in the first. Not Von Hayes.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go from the Phillies?
Oh boy,
Where'd he come from?
He came from Cleveland.
Jim Thome.
Yeah. Yep.
Rico Bronya.
Who was? I'm trying to think. There was another one. I'm trying to think. Who was it? That
Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't have him on the list either because you know why? I think him more of a DH.
Yeah,
but he absolutely could be on the list. Number 6 is a guy who usually gets overlooked because of where he played. We played in Colorado.
Todd Helton.
Yeah, I mean Todd Helton was amazing.
3,000 hits, I believe. Almost 3,000.
So I have Pujols, Murray, McGuire, McGriff, Jim Thome, Todd Helton, Pete Rose. Number 8,
Galarraga.
I know another guy who easily could be on the list.
Yeah.
Outstanding player. Number 8 was a Giant. I think he played for the Cardinals as well. I'm sure he did.
Giant
Cardinals.
Jeez. JT Snow. That's the problem. I think I know the bad players more than the obvious ones.
It happens.
Right-handed, left-handed?
Left.
Wow.
80s, late 80s.
Jack Clark?
Will
Clark.
Will Clark. Close enough.
There was also a Jack Clark.
Yeah. Number 9 has just retired.
Just retired.
Cincinnati Reds.
Oh yeah, Joey Votto. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that is I couldn't him Bagwell. I mean, that's a toss up.
I want to see Bagwell's numbers. Yeah.
Number 10 that I came up with was just because he always seemed to frustrate the Phillies, and he was always good.
Marlins,
Dodgers, Padres, and Red Sox.
I know. Adrian Gonzalez.
Yes. I swear he batted 500 in his career against the Phillies.
Yeah. He was a good hitter.
He was really good.
Jeff Bagwell, 449 home runs, 2,314 hits. Drafted by the Red Sox, never played a game for anybody but the Astros.
Wow.
And he's in the Hall of Fame.
He could replace Adrian Gonzalez on the list easily. But and like you said, there's guys who you mentioned too, who I don't have here. I mean, you look there. I guess now, if you look at the game and you look at first baseman, would you say currently there's Freddie Freeman will be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Bryce Harper will make the Hall of Fame.
I mean, if you're retired right now, he would.
Not now, right? Correct. I'm projecting he makes it through the career. I mean,
he needs a lot more numbers. He's only like 1,300 hits, just past 300 homers.
Yeah, You're right. You're right. Well, and hopefully he gets them. Hopefully he gets them in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's where he's going to play. I mean, I'm just hoping he's healthy and is able to do it.
Well, I mean, 10 years from now, we'll be saying is Pete Alonso on the list. He'll be close.
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say 10 years from now we're going to look at this Phillies team and they're going to be going out there in wheelchairs. You can have what? You have like 38-year-old Harper, 39-year-old Turner.
Player manager Harper.
Oh my goodness! I mean,
to save money, they have to make him the manager.
I get. I mean, that's just the same thing. I mean, you look at the Mets. I mean, they signed Soto, thinking, okay, well, he's not going to be the player in 15 years, but in those 15 years, do we get 2 or 3 World Series?
I mean, we said this about Alex Rodriguez when he signed his long contracts, and he never really showed the age. He got through it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Texas was able to move him the way they did.
Yeah,
because and I guess at that time it was only going to be the Yankees who were. The Yankees were the only one to take him,
right?
So.
I see Bryce Harper playing for the Yankees.
It wouldn't, or at this point, I could see him. The Dodgers.
Yeah,
he'll go out there and be the DH or something for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, they just. I don't know how. It's weird how those contracts are like worded. I mean, obviously, not being an agent, I don't know, but it's like we have his no trade clause, but he can waive it. So,
all right.
Then
so he doesn't have a no trade clause.
Well, if you can waive it, well, I'll waive it. It's like he ain't waiving it to go to the White Sox,
right?
The one question I want to ask you quick now that I did think of it before we end. Do you think, since you mentioned the Dodgers, do you think baseball? Obviously, baseball is never going to have a salary cap.
Right.
Do you think a team should? Do you think there should be a limit the team has to spend? Like, I mean, the Marlins are going to what? Their payroll is going to be what, $104,000 or something this year. I mean,
yeah, I think there should be a minimum. Yeah, because I mean, if you can't afford to pay the minimum, then you shouldn't be able to own the franchise. It should be a part of your requirements of owning the franchise.
Because if there's this revenue sharing,
right? They're making money, but they're not spending it.
Yeah, aren't you supposed to use the revenue?
Yeah, I agree. I think there should be a salary cap. Actually,
you know what? I think at this point it's probably too far gone with the way things are and the way that union is. But it would be very interesting to see the competitive balance if it was.
I'm not saying it has to be 200 million. You can make it 500 million. But to make it something, it can't just be infinity.
Well, it's like the situation where, okay, obviously Ohtani was going to go to the Dodgers, but you can't. It still doesn't seem right. Where it's like, okay, well, we'll take him and then we'll pay him. We'll pay his grandkids. Just come play for us now, and we'll pay your grandkids. The way it seems.
Yeah. I know.
You always had that. They always bring that up that Bobby Bonilla Day or whatever, where he gets his $1 million from.
Yeah, sure. He's not complaining.
No, and I'm just surprised that the Phillies didn't try to do that with anyone.
Isn't it fitting that I have Titanic playing in the background with the Sixers season?
Well, if you follow it up by taps.
It's actually sinking right now with the violins playing.
I guess. Wow. We'll see if the Sixers can win a game because they haven't won one since the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and then we'll have more scintillating sumo wrestling talk next week.
200th episode. Join us for our 200th episode.
Yeah, we'll go over the history of how this show was put together.
Yeah,
We'll have some tributes to JT Real Muto. So all of you who has followed us, you know what that means. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you for 200 next week.
Yeah. Good night. See you next week.
Good night.